Here's something that'll blow your mind. You can walk down a cobblestone street, past Victorian cottages clinging to a mountainside, and sip coffee beside a grand old European spa house, all without ever leaving Arkansas. Sounds crazy, right? Most people think you need a plane ticket, a passport, and thousands of dollars to feel like you're strolling through the European countryside. But they're dead wrong. Hidden deep in the Ozark Mountains, along winding rivers and quiet town squares, Arkansas is hiding 10 secret towns that look like they were stolen straight out of Europe. And here's the wild part. Some of them were literally built by European immigrants over 100 years ago. One town is nicknamed the Little Switzerland of the Ozarks. Another was founded by real Italian families. And the very last one? It might just leave you speechless. So stay till the end. Now be honest. Which town shocked you the most? Don't just scroll away. Tell us in the comments. We read every single one, and it truly makes our day. And if this took you on a little journey, hit that subscribe button. It's just one click, but it means the world to us and keeps these videos coming. Number 1, Eureka Springs. Let's start with the crown jewel, because if Arkansas has a European twin, it's without a doubt Eureka Springs. Just picture it for a second. Dozens of Victorian cottages and grand mansions balanced precariously on limestone bluffs, all connected by steep, narrow, winding streets that twist and climb exactly like the storybook alleyways of an alpine village. It's so beautifully unique that the entire city is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Not just a building or two, but every single street. Now here's a little known nugget most visitors never hear. Eureka Springs practically sprang up overnight in 1879, exploding to 10,000 people in a single year, all chasing the supposed healing powers of its cold water springs. People genuinely believed this water could cure almost anything. But when that boom went bust just as fast as it began, the town was left too remote and too broke to tear anything down. And believe it or not, that failure is the exact reason it looks so breathtakingly European today. While other American towns bulldoze their old buildings to make way for the modern world, Eureka Springs simply couldn't afford to. The Victorian architecture was never demolished, never modernized, never touched. Time, quite literally, stood still here for over a century. Wander through today and you'll pass art galleries tucked inside 130-year-old homes, street musicians, hidden gardens, spas, and cozy cafes. The whole place hums like a living artisan village in the Swiss mountains. How to experience it like a local? Leave the car behind, because parking is famously tight. Instead, walk the historic loop along Spring Street or hop aboard the charming trolley that loops through town. Take your time. Peek down side streets, climb a staircase or two, and let yourself get pleasantly lost. Honestly, of every town on this list, this is the one that will make you swear, hand on heart, that you somehow crossed an ocean. Number 2, hot springs. Long before wellness retreat and self-care became trendy buzzwords, Europeans were flocking to grand thermal spa towns, places like Baden-Baden in Germany or the elegant city of Bath in England, to soak, relax, and be pampered. And here's the surprise. Arkansas has its very own version, and it's absolutely stunning. Welcome to Hot Springs. The beating heart of this town is the famous Bathhouse Row, a jaw-dropping lineup of early 1900s bathhouses built in ornate Spanish colonial revival, Renaissance, and European revival styles. Take the beautiful Quapaw bathhouse with its elegant tiled dome and graceful arches. Honestly, if you showed someone a photo, they'd swear it was a Mediterranean villa on the Italian coast, not a spa in the American South. And it only gets better when you step behind the row. Stroll along the tree-lined Grand Promenade, a wide, elegant walking path shaded by old-growth trees, and you'll feel like you're on a grand European boulevard from a bygone century. There's a slowness here, a graceful, old-world rhythm that's almost impossible to find anywhere else in the country. But here's what makes Hot Springs so special, and this isn't a museum you just look at. It's alive and working. The same natural thermal waters that first drew visitors more than a century ago are still bubbling up from the ground today, steaming and warm, exactly as they always have. People have been taking the waters here for generations, chasing that same sense of healing and calm. How to experience it. Do exactly what the Europeans have done for hundreds of years. Soak in the natural thermal waters at one of the historic bathhouses still open to the public. Then, once you're relaxed and glowing, take a leisurely walk down the Grand Promenade at golden hour, when the setting sun sets those magnificent old buildings aglow. It's pure, unhurried, old-world magic, and it's been quietly waiting in Arkansas this whole time. Number 3. Tontitown. Now for the town I teased you about earlier. And trust me, this one is truly special. Because Tontitown isn't pretending to be European or dressing up in a costume for the tourists. No, this little town was literally founded by Italian immigrants, and its heritage is as real as it gets. Rewind to the late 1890s. A group of hard-working Italian families, led by a devoted priest named Father Pietro Bandini, packed up their lives and settled right here in the rolling hills of northwest Arkansas. And what did they do first? They did what Italians have done for centuries back home. They planted grapevines. They brought a genuine living slice of the Italian countryside across an ocean and rooted it deep into Arkansas soil. But here's the beautiful part. That heritage never faded away. It didn't get watered down or forgotten with each passing generation. Instead, it's still thriving and celebrated today, more than a century later. That kind of unbroken tradition is incredibly rare, and it's exactly what gives Tontitown its authentic, old-world soul. The best proof? Every single August for over 125 years straight, the town throws the legendary Tontitown Grape Festival. And this is no small county fair. We're talking about homemade spaghetti dinners simmered from recipes passed down through the generations, locally made wine, toe-tapping live music, a carnival, and traditions that families have lovingly protected since the very beginning. The whole town comes together, and the air fills with the smell of garlic, tomatoes, and slow-cooked sauce. How to experience it? If you possibly can, time your visit for the Grape Festival in August. It's the town at its most alive and joyful. Sit down at one of those long community spaghetti dinners and take a bite. It tastes exactly like something an Italian grandmother lovingly made in her own kitchen, because in the most beautiful way, generations of them truly did. Arkansas this whole time. Number 4. Van Buren. If your idea of European charm is a grand old commercial street, the kind lined with ornate storefronts, decorative facades, and that unmistakable sense of history in every brick, then get ready, because Van Buren is about to steal your heart completely. This wonderful town boasts one of the most intact 19th century main streets you'll find anywhere in the entire region. And we're not talking about a single restored corner or a lonely old building surrounded by modern shops. No, this is 8 full blocks of beautifully preserved Victorian architecture, with the majority of the buildings dating back to before 1920. Walking through it feels less like visiting a town and more like walking onto the set of a period film. Anchoring this stunning stretch is the striking high Victorian Italianate courthouse, a real showstopper with its bold lines and elegant detailing, along with the lovingly restored 1901 Frisco train depot standing proudly at the other end. Together, they frame the street like grand bookends of a bygone era. As you stroll down the sidewalk, take a moment to really look up and around. You'll notice the intricate decorative brickwork, the graceful arched windows, the vintage signage, and that soft, warm gas lamp ambiance that makes everything feel timeless. It genuinely, unmistakably feels like wandering through a charming provincial European town center, the kind you'd stumble upon in the French or Italian countryside and never want to leave. And the best part? It's not a lifeless museum behind glass. These historic buildings are alive and buzzing with antique shops, cozy cafes, boutiques, and local businesses. How to experience it? Begin your visit at the beautifully restored Frisco Depot, which conveniently doubles as the town's visitor center. Grab a map and get your bearings. Then simply walk the full length of Main Street, taking your sweet time. Duck into the antique shops, many of which occupy the original Victorian storefronts, and let the past gently pull you in. Number 5. Mountain View. Here's something worth remembering. Some of the most beloved European villages aren't famous for their fancy buildings at all. They're treasured because they've managed to keep ancient crafts, folk music, and old world traditions alive, the kind of skills most of the world has long forgotten. And that right there is the pure magic of Mountain View. This charming town is home to the remarkable Ozark Folk Center State Park, a place wholly dedicated to preserving the music, crafts, and culture of the Ozarks. If you've ever visited one of those wonderful living history folk villages scattered across rural Europe, where the past isn't just displayed but actively practiced, then you'll feel instantly at home here. It's the same beautiful spirit, alive and breathing in the American mountains. At the center sits the Craft Village, home to around 20 artisan shops where the real magic unfolds right before your eyes. You can watch blacksmiths hammering glowing iron, potters shaping wet clay, and weavers working their looms, all practicing heritage skills entirely by hand, exactly as their ancestors did generations ago. There are no shortcuts here, no machines humming in the background, just patience, skill, and tradition. But Mountain View has one more trick up its sleeve that makes it truly unforgettable. It's affectionately known as the folk music capital, and for good reason. On many an evening, locals simply gather on the courthouse square with their fiddles, banjos, and guitars and start playing acoustic mountain music. Not for money, not for a show, but purely for the sheer love of it. Total strangers pull up chairs, tap their feet, and join in. How to experience it? Spend your afternoon wandering the craft village, chatting with the friendly artisans, and maybe picking up a handmade treasure. Then, as the sun begins to dip, head straight to the town square in the evening. Find yourself a spot and simply listen. Those spontaneous jam sessions are the closest thing to a living European folk village square you'll ever find on American soil. Number 6, Calico Rock. Close your eyes and picture those breathtaking postcards you've seen of tiny romantic towns perched high above the Rhine River in Germany, their old buildings clinging dramatically to the cliffs, the water shimmering far below. Stunning, right? Well, hold on to that image because Arkansas has its very own version, and it's every bit as magical. Meet the hidden little gem of Calico Rock. This tiny, tucked-away historic town sits atop colorful limestone bluffs that rise dramatically above the winding White River. Those beautifully streaked, multicolored cliffs are actually how the town earned its charming name, the calico coloring painted across the rock face. It's a natural masterpiece that no architect could ever design, and it forms the perfect backdrop for the town above. The compact historic district, which climbs gently up from the peaceful riverfront, is so remarkably well preserved that certain parts of it are considered a genuine ghost town. Original early 20th century buildings still stand quietly along the streets, their weathered walls holding onto stories from a century ago. There's a haunting, beautiful stillness here, the kind that makes you slow your steps and lower your voice, almost out of respect. And it's this exact combination that gives Calico Rock its unmistakable, jaw-dropping charm. The shimmering water down below, the colorful cliffs rising up above, and a frozen-in-time Main Street perched right in between. Put it all together and you've got the classic silhouette of a romantic European river village, the kind travelers cross oceans and empty their savings just to glimpse. Yet here it is, quietly waiting in the heart of Arkansas, largely undiscovered. How to experience it? Take a slow, unhurried walk down the historic Main Street, letting it lead you gently down toward the river's edge. And whatever you do, don't rush past the scenic viewpoints looking out over the bluffs and the White River below. That sweeping view, cliffs, water, and old town all in one frame, is your perfect, envy-inducing postcard shot. Number 7, Bentonville. Here's a defining feature of nearly every beloved European village, the very thing that gives them their warm, unmistakable soul. Life revolves around a central town square. Usually there's a fountain in the middle, cafes spilling out onto the sidewalks, and people who happily linger for hours, talking, sipping, and simply watching the world drift by. And when it comes to capturing that exact feeling, Bentonville absolutely nails it. The famous Bentonville Square is a genuine, honest-to-goodness European-style gathering place. Right at its heart sits a lovely central fountain, surrounded by a leafy green plaza. And circling all around it, you'll find charming sidewalk cafes, cozy coffee shops, and one-of-a-kind local boutiques. This isn't a place you rush through on your way to somewhere else. It's a place where people intentionally sit, sip, and people watch for entire afternoons. exactly the way they would in a sun-dappled plaza in Spain or Italy. What makes it even more enchanting is how it transforms with the changing seasons. In the crisp days of autumn, the square is beautifully decked out in golden mums, pumpkins, and cornstalks, glowing with cozy fall warmth. And then winter arrives and works pure magic. The annual lighting of the square bathes everything in a soft, twinkling glow, and an ice skating rink appears nearby. Suddenly, the whole scene looks like it leapt straight out of a European Christmas market, complete with hot cocoa, laughter, and holiday cheer floating through the cold air. That kind of year-round charm and community spirit is exactly what makes a place feel timeless and wonderfully old world, no matter the month you visit. How to experience it? Keep this one simple, because that's truly the whole point. Grab yourself a warm coffee from one of the local shops, find a comfortable bench right beside the fountain, and just slow all the way down. Watch the people, soak in the atmosphere, and remember, in a true European square, there's absolutely nowhere you need to rush off to. Number 8. Batesville. There's something almost magical about the very oldest town in a region, a special kind of weight and depth that you can practically feel in the air, much like the ancient storied towns scattered across Europe that have stood for centuries. In Arkansas, that proud and rare distinction belongs to Batesville, officially the oldest existing city in the entire state. And once you walk its streets, you'll understand exactly why it earns a spot on this list. Its beautifully preserved historic district is absolutely brimming with ornate Victorian-era homes and gorgeous early architecture, each one a little time capsule of Arkansas's earliest days. The crown jewel among them is the remarkable Maxfield Garrett House, built way back in the 1840s, making it the oldest home in the entire town. Just imagine everything those walls have witnessed over nearly 2 centuries. But it doesn't stop with a single house. All throughout Batesville, you'll discover grand old residences, elegant facades, and enduring stone and brick landmarks lining the streets. Together, they give the whole town that deeply layered, lived-in, unhurried feel of a centuries-old European town, the kind of place that has quietly watched history unfold, generation after generation, without ever losing its dignity or its charm. There's no flashiness here, no theme park polish, just genuine, authentic age and grace, earned honestly over time. Walking these sidewalks, you can't help but feel connected to the very roots of Arkansas itself. Every corner seems to whisper a story, and every old home stands as a proud survivor of an era long gone. It's history you can reach out and touch. How to experience it? The very best way to soak it all in is to take a leisurely, self-guided walking tour of the historic homes lining Main Street and the surrounding neighborhoods. And as you wander, keep a sharp eye out for the fascinating historic markers cut directly into stone placed around town. They beautifully tell the story of where Arkansas truly began. Number 9. Hardy. Let your imagination wander for a moment and picture a charming little European village that simply stopped changing a full century ago, a place where the modern world never quite caught up, and everything remained beautifully, perfectly preserved. That enchanting, frozen-in-time feeling is exactly what you'll find in Hardy, a delightful town resting gently on the banks of the crystal-clear Spring River. The beating heart of this town is its historic core, lovingly known as Old Hardytown. And this is where the magic really shines. This wonderful district is home to around 40 historic landmarks, and remarkably, it has hardly changed at all since its early railroad origins. Think about that for a second. While most of the world raced forward, tearing down and rebuilding, Hardy quietly held onto its past with both hands. The compact, walkable downtown is absolutely packed with treasures. Charming antique shops, creative artisan studios, cozy local eateries, and live music drifting through the air. And here's the best part. All of it is housed inside the original buildings, the very same ones that have warmly welcomed summer visitors for well over 120 years. Generation after generation of families have strolled these exact sidewalks, and you can feel that history in every storefront. But what truly seals Hardy's European charm is its setting. With the crystal clear river running right alongside the old town, the whole place has that same intimate, walkable, Water's edge magic you'd expect to find in a peaceful riverside village tucked deep in the European countryside. The gentle sound of flowing water, the vintage buildings, the unhurried pace, it all blends together into something genuinely special and rare. How to experience it? Spend a relaxed morning antiquing and browsing the artisan shops throughout Old Hardy Town, hunting for hidden treasures and one-of-a-kind finds. Then when the day warms up, do exactly what the locals have joyfully done for generations. Cool off with a refreshing float or a swim in the spring river. It's tradition, and it's pure bliss. Number 10. Helena. And now for the grand finale, the surprise I've been saving for last, and honestly, it might just be the most unexpected of them all. Journey down into the sweeping Arkansas Delta, along the banks of the mighty Mississippi River, and you'll discover Helena, a town whose grand, gracefully aging architecture feels like it belongs to a completely different world than the rest of the state. Here's the fascinating history that sets it apart. Long ago, Helena stood as one of Arkansas's wealthiest and busiest river ports, a bustling hub where fortunes were made and riverboats crowded the docks. And that old prosperity left behind an incredible architectural legacy. Wander through the historic downtown today, and you'll be surrounded by stately antebellum mansions, beautifully ornate historic storefronts, and grand old buildings that speak volumes about a golden era of river trade wealth now long past. It's that very quality, the weathered, faded elegance of it all, that gives Helena its unmistakable European soul. The grand facades, the intricate wrought iron details, the dignified riverfront. Together they conjure up the romantic, time-worn beauty of an old European port city, the kind that has seen glorious days come and go, yet still stands proud and beautiful. There's a poetic, almost cinematic feeling to walking these streets, as if you've slipped into another century entirely. At the very heart of it all sits the wonderful Delta Cultural Center, which lovingly preserves the region's rich, layered history, including the legendary music that was born right here in these Delta soils and went on to shape the world. How to experience it? Take a slow, thoughtful walk through downtown's antebellum architecture and historic storefronts, letting the grandeur of a bygone age wash over you. Then make your way to the riverfront. Stand there quietly and watch the great Mississippi roll endlessly by, sliding past those magnificent old buildings. And you'll finally understand why this breathtaking surprise earned the final spot on our list. Conclusion. And there you have it, my friend. 10 incredible Arkansas towns that look and feel exactly like a European village and not a single passport or plane ticket required. From the Alpine-style cottages of Eureka Springs clinging to their bluffs, to the authentic Italian spaghetti dinners of Tontitown, from the cliffside romance of Calico Rock to the faded riverfront grandeur of Helena, it turns out that a little slice of Europe has been quietly waiting in the heart of Arkansas this whole time. What makes these places so truly special isn't just how they look. It's the real history, the real people, and the real traditions that have kept their old world magic alive for over a century. These aren't movie sets or tourist gimmicks. They're living, breathing pieces of the past, still welcoming curious travelers with open arms. So the next time you're dreaming of cobblestone streets, charming squares, and that unmistakable European feeling, remember, you might not have to travel nearly as far as you think. Sometimes the most enchanting hidden gems are sitting right in your own backyard, just waiting to be discovered. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me today. I truly hope it inspired you to pack a bag, hit the road, and go explore the world one hidden gem at a time. Safe travels, and I'll see you in the next one.